the one who scatters. Let me use it. So I have this cent or this coin, this little change. And I'm going to get my money back from you. Okay? I'm passing this on. She came to meet me. Said, oh, Pastor, I'm unable to pay my school fees. Please help me whatever thing you can. Give her a token. I'm unable to pay my rent. Please, Pastor, please help me. I'm unable to bills, to pay my telephone bills. Please help me. And I give to her. I'm unable to buy the materials that I needed for my project. Pastor, please, could you be a blessing unto me? Then I give to her. There is he who scatters. All that I've done is to scatter what I have in my hands by giving it to them. So I am left with just this little. What I shared with them ordinarily is not even sufficient for my own use. But yet I've gone ahead to share it with them. Now, there will be a difference between the results that each of these guys will make, the answer to prayers that they will become, the things that they will get as a result of the seed or the gifts that I've given them, as against me holding all those things to myself. I don't know if I'm making sense to you right now, because at this point, I'm already an answer to a prayer. The money I gave you was for your rent, right? So I've given her the money for her rent. Now she can learn to pay without issues. I gave you money for what? For your school fees. Now she can go ahead and sit for that course. And as God lives, she passes her exams and she gets a degree. You think I will do any of all these things for these ones and they will forget me? This value, this chain that has just been created, is actually the essence of our lives as believers. Being a blessing unto others. There is he who scatters like a planter or like a farmer would do. A farmer has some seeds in his hand or her hand, maybe like 10 seeds. He would not pack all those seeds together on one spot. You go to this corner, you drop this one. You go to this corner, you drop that one. You go to this corner, you drop that one. So at the end of the season, when it is harvest time, you go to all those corners and begin to plug them. Oh, I remember I did this one here. I'm going to go here to plug this one. I'm going to go here to plug this one. At the end of the day, you know what happens? Multiplication occurs. Because the seeds have been sown in different directions. They've been scattered in different places. So because these ones, they've been helped, and because they've been blessed, they now also have the understanding that the essence of what they have is such that it can be a blessing unto others. With that, they will now also go ahead and begin to be a blessing unto other people. That is how value is created. And that is how you become a testimony, an answer rather, to someone else's prayer request. If a farmer has all those seeds and drop all of them together in one spot, it's going to mess up his crop. The joy is in being able to scatter. Being able to scatter. There is he who scatters. As he scatters, yet he increases. But there is he who withholds much more than is necessary. The Bible says he tends unto poverty. Go ask the children of Israel. When the Lord blessed them with manna, out of greed, they were taking much more. God told them, say, take only as you need. But you see, every human being, our natural system, except your spirit has been regenerated and you've given your life to Jesus, you are being ruled by heaven's economy. Your natural system is greed. To take and take and take and take and take. That's why corruption abounds. Because the one who has also always wants to have more. The one who has 2 cars wants to have like 5, 7 cars. That's how corruption starts. God gave them very simple instruction. Take this, I'm going to feed you with manna from above, bread from on high. Take as much as you need right now. In other words, take only for your consumption, for your personal consumption. You know what they were doing? They kept taking. Because they saw manna. And they didn't trust God enough. That the God who showed them manna, who gifted them manna, is also able to come the following day to give them fresh manna. They do not know that it is possible for them to have fresh manna, fresh food every blessed day. They did not trust God enough for that. And because of that, when the Lord let the manna fell from heaven, they began to pack. They were packing with all greed. Family of 3, family of 4, packed for 3 months, for 2 months. God told them just for 1 moment. If you study your Bible, you will see what happened to them. Every one of them who packed much more than was necessary. Those manna, the bread, turned into worms. They could not eat them. The manna couldn't stay for the following day. Bible says that every morning his mercies are renewed. Day after day, all that my hands need, all that I need, he has provided. But these guys, they were not smart enough to trust the Lord. That the same God who gave them this manna is able to give them much more the following morning. So when you withhold much more than is necessary, when you withhold much more than you need, it tends unto poverty. I need you to have this mentality that for everything that you've been gifted with, you are a trustee of that thing. Now, this statement or this point is quite very, very pivotal to this sermon. I need you to know this moment that you are a trustee, or better still, a steward of what you have. As a matter of fact, you know that once you've given your life to Jesus, your life no longer becomes yours. Your life belongs to Jesus. So your life in itself, you are a trustee of your life. The gift of catering that you have, you are a trustee of that gift. If you are smart, if you are very, very deep academically, you're very, very smart academically, the wizard-like grace that you have, you are a trustee of it. You know what trust means? Trust means that I'm traveling and I own this bag and I'm going to give it to Sister Tolu. It means that while I'm away, these things, they're in her care. Whatsoever thing that happens to it, while I'm away, she gets the responsibility. She becomes responsible for whatsoever thing that happens. That's what a trustee does. That's the way a trustee lives. You are a trustee of everything that you have. You see, that's the reason why for someone like me, and I say this not to boast, there is nothing that I have that the Lord would need, or that someone around me would need, that I have that I will not be able to give out. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm being a blessing to you in this church as your pastor. And because of you, because I'm being a blessing to you, God is also blessing me in return. Because the more I am of a blessing to you, the more I'm able to sit down and study the word of the Lord. The more I'm able to pray unto the Lord, the more I'm able to request for supernatural grace and abilities. So the more I do that, the better I become. Let us know this morning, we become better in respect to how much we help others to also become better. In other words, the better you help others to become, the better you also become. The more you help people to grow, the more you grow. The more you give of yourself unto others, the more you get. The more you help others' lives become better, the more your life becomes better. The more you help people to grow, the more you grow. If you don't help them to grow, if you don't help others to grow, you cannot grow. If you don't help others to become better, you cannot become better. In the year 2009, I chose deliberately to live my life for my family, for God, and for people. There is none of you here under the sound of my voice who would not say that pastor loves people. I love people. When I say I love you, it's not a cliche. Loving you means that I'm willing to do for you what your parents can do for you, as much as God gives me the grace. Some people will not be able to do that. Your burden becomes my burden. I've seen many of you become so burdened, and sometimes I'll walk up to you and I'll say, talk to me. What's going on? It's because with the grace given unto me to counsel and to share and to encourage you, I want to be able to let out some of all these graces on you, such that your life will become better. How are you giving of yourself unto others? Or how much of yourself are you giving unto others? Simply put, How are you making the world a better place just by the gift of you? Don't let's think about others right now. Let's think about your immediate friend. The one who calls you friend. How are you helping that person to become a better person? What value are you creating in the life of that person? There is he who scatters, yet he increases. Give me that verse again. But there is he who withholds much more than is necessary. He tends to poverty. Give me 25. 25 says, the generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. Now this is going to sound like a rhetoric, but you see, the reason why people bless me is because I've been and I'm always being a blessing unto others. It's the reason why I'm blessed. It is the reason why I'm blessed. 2 Fridays ago, a sister, one of my sisters here in the city, you know, she was pregnant. She called me like after 9. Hey, Pastor, where are you? Where are you? I think it's time. Please, come and help me. I drove to her house to take her to the hospital. Put to bed that baby at 11:36 p.m. rather, last week Friday. This past Friday was the naming. As they left their church for the naming, she came to my house with her parents. Sajid, that was when we were talking. She brought her father and her mother to my house with a newborn. And the father was praying, and was praying, and was praying, and was listening to me very carefully. There is no way the things that man was saying, there is no way they won't come to pass in my life. It is in the place of giving yourself unto others that you become more. I need you to know that greed is deadly. Greed of material resources, greed of yourself, greed of your talent, it is deadly. It is, if you see anyone not growing in life, that person is not giving enough. That person is not giving enough. When you have a pool of water that's not flowing, but water keeps coming into it, at some point it begins to stink. It begins to smell. When you bless others, my parents, they taught me that when I go out and people shower me in favor, I shouldn't be too surprised. Why? Because they also do same for others that they do not know. The more of a blessing you be unto others, the better your life becomes. Let me let us know. Your life will not become better by focusing on you. Your life will become better by focusing on others. Can we, as members of this ministry, be conscious enough to cast the gaze off ourselves? Let life no longer be about ourselves, but let us also be very conscious of those needs around us, of the people around us. Here in this church, for instance, there are people who will not show up for service, yet you will not miss the absence. I've always said this, the value your presence does not create cannot be felt in your absence. But yet there are people who will not show up in church and who will know that they are not in church. Be a blessing, brethren. Let it be such that if you don't show up at your workplace, let them know that you are not there. That's what I'm saying. If you don't show up for your friend, if you don't show up in class, let them know that someone is missing. You should not belong to this church and get to a place as a kingdom influencer and not let your impact be felt. Don't try. This sister walked into church this morning. She went to the backstreet, began to arrange the first-time guests and all those stuff. And let your impact be felt wherever you find, in school, in church, wherever place may be. Let your impact be felt. Let it be so tough, such that if you are not there, they would know that you are missing. Not because you want to show up, but because of the weight of the value you've created with your presence. I'm not talking just about the church. I'm also talking about to your friend. Let it be such that you will travel. Let your friend be able to say, oh, for truth, I miss you. You were not around. I missed your company. I needed to talk. There was no one I could talk to because you were not around. Jesus, Bible says that he moved around, he was doing good. He moved around, he was doing good. He moved around, he was doing good. And he had people thronging at him. It's one of the miracles, it's one of the things that made Jesus who Jesus is. Our lives are useless if we live it just for ourselves and by ourselves. Life makes no meaning if it is not lived outside us. Life makes no sense if there is no part of us that yearns for more of others. Life, I know everybody is not like me, all right? But I also know that I also don't become this overnight. My love for people is genuine. And there is no way you can love God, that you love Jesus for who Jesus is, that you don't have compassion on the people. Bible says that when Jesus was moving about, he saw them battered, oppressed, and depressed. Bible says that he was moved with compassion. One way to know a genuine servant of the Most High, it's how much his heart beats for the lost and the sheep under his flock. You can get to that level, and you can start in your immediate sphere of influence with your roommates. Some of you have roommates. Sometimes you're not even on talking terms. Whether you're around or you're not around, brother, to me, you're smiling. To the best of my knowledge, Sister Tolu is a roommate. If she's not treating you well, just let me know. Some of you have roommates. So even if you travel for your roommate, it may be good riddance to bad rubbish. I proceed to say this. It is one of the principles that I've also lived my life by. Many of you have been hurt, and I'm still going to get there. But watch this. There is something that I do about my life. No matter how much hurt I feel, I don't allow anyone to make me become who I am originally not. I don't allow anyone to make me become who I am not. Some of you, ordinarily, you are not bitter people. You are not a bitter person. You are not the one giving to anger. You are not the type who gives into ridicule. You're not the type who does terrible things. But because of the crime, the way you've been treated by some of those that you've helped, you've developed thick skin. That thick skin is of the devil. You've developed thick skin such that you're no longer moved by compassion. Should I shock you? There will be many unto whom you will be a blessing, who will never remember you or thank you for the rest of their lives. As a matter of fact, those who will thank you, those who would say, "Oh, Pastor, for the seeds of the words that you sowed into my life, thank you," they are very, very few. As to the number of those who will go about to act as though you've never done anything in their lives. Don't let the experience or the unpleasant experience of your kindness or generosity unto someone, don't let it stop you from being kind, from being generous, from giving of yourself unto others. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. You know, when offense comes, maybe let's say offense. When offense comes, when the devil causes us to become offended, the natural reaction is to react in the flesh. But as believers, you must be conscious that you're no longer walking in the flesh, because your spirit has become the spirit of the Lord. So your reaction should be love. Many of you have been hurt. It's the reason why, do you know, people find it hard to even give money onto others, not because they don't want to give, but because they are worried, they are scared. If the person is going to take it to go and do juju, to go and do jazz, to go and do charm. Bible says in Ecclesiastes Galatians chapter number 9, verse 6. Is it Galatians 6:9? Galatians 6:9, yes. It says, in doing good, it says, do not be weary. It says, if you do not, and let us not grow weary while doing good. It says, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. In due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Please don't be weary. Don't be weary. Again, I said it to you earlier, the blessings that I'm talking about is not just material blessing. I'm talking about blessing of your talent. You have the grace to encourage others, give it out. You have the grace to pray for others, give it out. You have the grace to give someone a warm hug. such that the person will feel loved. Give it out. You have the grace of smiling so captivating that something will melt inside someone's mind. Give it out. You have the grace of being a blessing to someone by buying them shoes, buying them belts, buying them pants, buying them shirts, buying them whatever. Give it out. Whatsoever grace that you have, please give it out. Bible tells us about the story of the talent. Bible tells us about the story of the talent. Bible says that when the servant was leaving, he gave this guy's talent. Bible says he gave each according to his own ability. Matthew chapter number 25, verses 14 to 30. Bible says he gave to each one of them according to his ability. He gave unto one 5. He gave unto one 2. He gave unto another 1 talent according to his own ability. In other words, God gives according to the grace that you have. Just one thing was expected, that which you've been given, you will go and multiply. So the one who was given 5, the Bible says he went and multiplied the 5 that he was given. So he had more. The one who was given 2, the Bible says he went and multiplied the 2 that he was given, and he had more. The Bible says, but the one who was given 1, the Bible says he cursed his master and say he's very, very wicked. How could you give me 1 talent? What do I want to do with 1 talent? He failed to realize it's not about the quantity of talent or the gifts that you have. It's about the impact of the weight of that gift onto the lives of those God has sent your way. And you and I know what happened to him. The Bible says that he was thrown to be damned. To be damned means to be condemned. A place where it will never be remembered anymore. The Bible says, this is a part that actually shocks me. Matthew 25, verse 30. Give me verse 30. The Bible says that to him who has, give me 25, verse 30. And cast the unprofitable servants into the outer darkness. They'll give me from verse number 28. Let's see from 28. I just want to show you something very quickly. See, so take the talent from him and give to him who has 10 talents. Go on. For to everyone who has, more will be given. That everyone who is giving out, who is multiplying what he has, more will be given unto them. See, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. Give me a second. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. Again, this is counterintelligence. How can you say the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken away? You said I don't have, yet you're saying what I have will be taken away. That means even when you're thinking you don't have any talent, you don't have any blessing to give unto others, you don't have any gift to give unto others, there is something in you that God still sees. To the one who does not have, even that which he has will be taken away. In other words, bad as a bad, like you say in my palace, or worse as it will be, you will always have something. You will always have something. And I've told you before, you don't give, maybe to God or to people, or you don't be a blessing unto others, not because you don't have what to give. You don't give because you don't have the heart to give. You see, this is a principle that I live my life by. Do you know that I've gotten to that level where, especially in my Naira account, if money flows into my Naira account, sometimes I will check and see what do I want to do with this money now? Then I begin to remember that we do. I begin to remember that person who sent me a message the last time and asked me to send something to him. I begin to say, I sent 5,000 Naira recharge card to one of my spiritual parents on Friday. She prayed and prayed on 5,000 Naira. 5,000 Naira is how much in Canadian dollar?
$19.
Huh?
$19.
5,000 Naira. She prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed on me. I could have held on to the 5,000 Naira, not give it up. It would have been in my account. Do I need money? Yes, I need money. But will that money make a difference in my life as to affecting the impact it would have had onto the life of others? Yes, it will. It will make that person become a better person. There is he who scatters. May the Lord give each and every one of us here to this morning the grace to scatter. In the mighty name of Jesus. The grace to scatter our gifts, to scatter our talent, to scatter our time, to scatter our resources, to scatter our wealth, to scatter such that we can increase, we can have more. Every Sunday morning, I get into church, I meet only Brother Ife, Brother Samuel, and Brother Oke in the church. Doing setup. Every Sunday morning. Just the three of them doing setup every Sunday morning. You can give more of yourself unto God. Trust me, you can. You can. You can scatter more of yourself unto God. You can. You can if you want to. You can. The one who is unable to multiply what was given was them. That was in verse Matthew 25. Abraham became a blessing. We sing about Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham became a blessing because he gave a tenth of what the Lord blessed him with. He gave it to Melchizedek. He gave it to Melchizedek. A tenth of what he has. Sarah, Abraham's wife, became a mother simply because she entertained strange guests, unknown guests. Can I talk to you this morning as your pastor? Please. If you belong to this ministry, don't let anyone visit you in your home and you'll be unable to offer even water as a courtesy for the person to drink. I beg you. Don't say you don't have malt. You don't have malt, that's beautiful. Don't say you don't have food, that's beautiful. Offer water. Did you hear me? Offer water. Don't let anyone come to pay you a visit. Either a brother in church or a sister in church or whoever it may be, even your friend, except you've gotten so accustomed or except the person has seen. There is a way you have, for instance, like some of these people here, Fembi, all of them, Sam, Oken, Lois, my home is their home. So they don't have to get to my house right now. My wife will now say, Samuel, welcome, take water. She would rather pour the water on his head. Because he knows where to get water if he needs water. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That's a totally different ballgame. So when people have gotten to that level with you, it's a totally different ballgame. But I'm saying, I don't want you to use myself as an example. So that you guys won't think pastor is trying to eat my food. But I'm saying, it will be a disgrace for you to belong to this ministry. And I, as a pastor, will pay you a visit, and you will not even be able to offer courtesy of water. It is left for me to say, I want it or I do not want it. It's your responsibility to say, Pastor, take it. Am I making sense? Now you're all silent. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive the prophet's reward. He who receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man will receive the righteous man's reward. It does not have to be me. It may be Sister Tolu paying Sister Fembi a visit tomorrow. It may be Sister Abinah going to see Sister Fembi in our hostel tomorrow. It may be anybody. Please don't let them leave without showing some kindness, without showing some generosity to them. So some of you would say, yes, I want to be able to give of myself unto others. I want to be able to be a blessing unto others. But I actually don't know how to go about that. Before I go into that, I need to let you know that our lives, when lived for ourselves, is boring and empty. Did you hear me? When we live our lives just for ourselves, it is boring and it is empty. I told you before, you become better by helping others to become better. You become great by helping others to become great. Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter number 11 verse 1, it says, cast your bread upon many waters. It says, after many days, you will see it. Cast your bread upon the waters. After many days, you will see it. So how can you be a blessing? Pastor, this is something that I really want to do. I just don't have an idea of how to go about it. Number one, have the trustee or steward mentality. Have the trustee or steward mentality. I explained that to you earlier on. Know that everything that you have and everything that you own, they are not originally yours. God has given you those things to keep them in trust of them. My son, my daughter, all these children here, as amazing they are, even to my biological children. I look at last year like that's how most times, and I still say to myself, Lord, thank you for trusting me with these searches the heart. If your heart is right, if your path is right, the Lord will give you more entrusted into your hands. Just like you saw in the case of the 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. The one who has more. The one who has more. The one who does not multiply what he has was damned. Was damned. So have the steward mentality. Know that for everything that you have, including your life, one day you will stand in the presence of the Lord to give an account of how you lived it. Jesus says, I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was naked and you clothed me. So the disciples began to ask, Master, we did not see you hungry. We did not give you food. We did not give you water. We did not clothe you. You know what he said to them? He said, as often as you've done it to any of these ones, you've already done it to me. Who are any of these ones? The people on the street. The less privileged. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, I believe, he says, he who gives to the poor, he says, lends to the Lord. He says, and the Lord will repay him. He who gives to the poor, lends to the Lord, and the Lord will repay him. What does that mean? Whenever you see someone who is in need, and you choose to part of the little that you have unto that person, you are giving credit, you are loaning unto God, and God is going to give you back. It's going to reward you. He who gives to the poor lends to the Lord, and the Lord would bless him in return. He who gives to the poor lends to the Lord. Let's see Proverbs chapter 19, verse 7. 19, verse 17. Proverbs 19, 17. If you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, and He will repay you. Can you all take a look at the screen, please? And read that out loud. 1, 2, 3, go.
If you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, and He will repay you.
Now personalize this. If I
help the poor, I am lending to the Lord, and He will repay me.
Wouldn't it be your joy to have God repay you for lending to the poor, for being so kind to the poor? It's one of the reasons why I love this church and the way it's structured. Structured around love, giving unto people. The reason why that breakfast with the homeless was held, extending this kindness unto others. So number 1, have a trusting or steward mindset. Number 2, develop the heart to give. That heart needs to be developed. Except you have a compassionate heart, you will see some people dying, you will not be moved. You will see the person you need, you have. But that greed nature in you will be telling you, no, don't give, no, don't give, no. If you give, you will not have again. Don't give. If you give, you will not have it. It's the voice of the devil. Let me let you understand. People hardly forget those who help them in their lowest moment in life. They barely forget. Those who were there in their lowest moment in life. They barely forget. People barely forget those who help them in their lowest moment in life. So develop the heart to give. In any case, once you have the trustee or the steward mindset, the heart to give should come to you naturally. Number 3, watch out for a need. Watch out for a need. Watch out for a need. Check out that friend. For instance, let me use Sister Fendi as an example. This lady here, she comes to church herself because she doesn't want to put load on the church, the van drivers, guest experience and all those stuff. She chooses to be going transit bus to come to church. And whenever she enters, she gets to church like 9:30, 9:20, thereabout. Whenever she gets into church, she begins to arrange some of all this stuff, begins to lay the envelopes on the table. So this morning, I was arranging this, and I saw her seated there. She did not even say good morning to me. I knew something wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. Watch out for it. She didn't have to tell me, Pastor, I'm not feeling too great today. So what did I do? I sat beside her and I asked her, do you know yourself what's going on? That's how to watch out for a need. When I'm telling you, be a blessing unto others, I'm not saying just money. Your time, your treasures, the words of your mouth, let it be a blessing unto someone. Watch out for a need. Once you've seen the need, see, people appreciate if you are able to sense their needs from afar before they even express them to you. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? If you're able to anticipate their needs, people appreciate that better than them having to come upon to you. Because if I didn't walk up to her or sat beside her, she wouldn't have told me anything. Oh, Pastor, I'm fine. Oh, Pastor, I'm fine. I said, okay, I know you're fine, but talk to me. I know you're fine, but talk to me. Anticipate needs and watch out for them. And number 4, respond to the need. You've seen something, you've seen a need, respond to it. Respond to it. Somebody sent you a message, requested for X amount of money, requested for $100 from you. You don't have $100, but you have $5. Explain to the person, I'm sorry, I don't have $100, but this is all that I have. It's my widow's mine. Please take this. Respond to the need. Number 5, which is very, very important. Don't look back after you've responded to the need. Did you hear me? Don't look back after you've responded to the need. It is because many of us usually look back after we've helped someone is the reason why we feel so disappointed most often. Because I show her kindness, and I expect that because I've shown her kindness, that she should come to me tomorrow and say, Pastor, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Me, once I do whatever thing that God has laid upon my heart to do for you, whether you thank me or you do not thank me, it's your cup of tea. Yes, if you thank me, I'll be happy. If you thank me, it will provoke me doing more for you. But if you fail to thank me, it's a way of you shutting opportunities for me to help you in the future. Don't forget the people that Jesus healed. The Bible says, how will you not tell me that I healed? Only one person came back to give the Lord thanks. And Jesus saw him. And where are the rest? You are not the only one, but you came back. You've come back. Okay, in the name of Jesus, you are made whole. Once you meet the needs, please don't look back. Should I tell you this morning, Kingdom Influencers, don't expect people to be nice to you because you are nice to them. Don't expect people to be good to you because you are good to them. Don't expect people to show you kindness because you show them kindness. Listen to me. When I show you good, it is who I am. So I'm not doing it to show off. So if you fail to repay me with evil, it's your business. It's a reflection of who you are. I told you last week, people would only treat you as much as they know. They cannot treat you better than they know themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't expect people to be kind to you because you are kind to them. Don't say, when you need a shelter, I gave her shelter. Now I'm in need of shelter. She's not helping me. Teach that. Let your trust be in the Lord. Next week I'm going to be sharing on offense. Because this is the way offense comes into our lives. He said, the last time she came to meet me for X and Y, and I gave it to her, and she did not even bother to say thank you. Okay, thank you. How does that make you feel? If people know better, they will treat you better. If I curse you, if you do anything to me, and I bless you, and I pray for you, and I show kindness to you, it is who I am. If I do the exact opposite unto you, it's also who I am. People would only treat you based on who they are, not who you are. Again, I'll say, don't look back after you've responded to the need. Please don't. Move on. Move on. And go look out for someone else. Then number 6, repeat the cycle. So the first cycle, have the trustee or steward mindset. Number 2, develop the heart to give. Number 3, watch out for a need. Number 4, respond to the need. I did not say respond to a need. It is respond to the need that you've watched out for. Number 5, don't look back after you've responded to the need. And number 6, repeat the cycle. Many of those, like I started earlier on, many of those that you show kindness to will never thank you. But you see, you would also have some whom you've not shown much kindness to, yet who will be thanking you as though you've done the world. You've done incredible things to them. You've not done so much for them, but yet they will make you. That's the way some of you here in this church, you make me feel. When I look at the way some of you, honor me, and some of you, do the things you do for me, the way you, show up to my wife, show up to my children, come to my house to fellowship with us, bond together with me and all of that. Sometimes I try to, it seems to me at times as if I've known some of you. I mean, the church is just going to be 1 year in a few weeks. Like as if I've known some of you like forever. Yet just 12 months. Some of you 10 months. Some of you 8 months. We've been created to be a blessing unto others. The life that gets results is the life that is lived outside of us. It is the life that chooses to be a blessing unto others. All eyes closed, all eyes bowed. You're in church this morning, you've not been saved. All these things that we've been sharing about giving, about sowing, about all these things, it does not even make any sense to you. Because you know, saved, your heart has not been regenerated. But you want the Lord to save you. Could you please signify by the raising up of your hands this morning? Lord Jesus, I don't like the way my life is going. I desire a relationship with you. Could you please signify by the raising up of your hands? If there is nobody like that this morning, can we please celebrate Jesus? I want to celebrate Jesus if you receive our word. Again, I just taught you not to look back after you've been a blessing to someone, right? If I were to look back, I would say you should have clapped better, if indeed that word blessed you. So, do it better. Do it better. Do it better. I hope someone was blessed by that message. And I'm hoping that someone would leave this room this morning with the understanding to be a better person, to give more of himself or herself unto others, to be a blessing unto someone, to meet someone's needs, to be an answer to someone else's prayer point. In Jesus' name. Amen. Do we have anyone worshiping with us here for the very first time? Oh, yes. What's your name, man? Sister, when you come, thank you. So who invited you, Sister Mary? Oh, really? Okay, because she was not in church last week Sunday, so she now decided to double her presence. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for coming, Sister Oyiko. This is Lofty Heights Christian Center, and the Lord has asked us to raise kingdom influencers. Men and women who know who they are, who's there, and why He has created them. If you do not have a home church where you attend and in which you are committed, I would encourage you to please prayerfully consider making this place a home and see what God is going to do in your life. Here we emphasize 3 things: the word of the Lord, the spirit of the Lord, and the power of His presence, and then love. Those 3 things we don't joke with. My assurance is that if you choose to make this place a home, like the Lord has assured us, your life will get better in less than 90 days. If you practice all that is being shared on this altar. Now, I've shared with you how to be a blessing to others. If you go out of this place and choose to have that consciousness to be a blessing, I need you to watch your life. If in 90 days, if you can't see any significant change in your work with the Lord, the way you see life, your perspective about life and all of that, maybe this place is not going to be a home for you. And if your desire is to grow in God, this is the house. Before we let you go this morning, we'd like to ask you,
where have you been?
Sister Mary, why did you delay to bring her? Oh, I see. You're welcome. Is she on a visit? Are you on a visit? Oh, student. Oh, Dad, welcome home. I would like you to know that.
We love you.
We honor you and we celebrate you. God bless you. I'd like to see you again. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming. Amen. Before we give our tithe and our offering, the last membership class that we had, one of the students did not attend our graduation. Amen. How did you know she was the one? One of the students didn't attend graduation. For the sake of those of you who do not know, at Lofty Heights we have a membership process. One will take you through the church, how the bishop came, what is expected of you, and all those. By God's grace, after our anniversary, we're going to be taking the next class. Okay? May I please call on Sister Chidima Oko for the presentation. She's one of the fruits of this ministry. One of the women I'm very proud. Give her a hug. I'm very, very proud of her and all that God is doing in her life. So this is as precious as your degree certificate. You include it in your resume, all right? And you frame it somewhere conspicuous in your home. Amen. Welcome home. God bless you. May the Lord accept you and everything. Amen. Amen.